All right, I'm going to give you this scenario.
Oh,
Okay.
we get a scenario today, not a question?
It's going to lead into a question.
Okay.
But there's been this meme going around that I want to talk to you about. But first, I got to set the stage.
Okay.
Okay, so you're on a date.
Okay. With you?
Anybody.
Okay.
You're at a restaurant
Okay.
in a decently upscale city in the United States of America.
Okay.
The person across from you
The
orders...
the person I'm on a date with?
Yes.
Okay.
Orders a burger.
Okay.
And the waiter asks, would you like cheese on that? And the person says, but how much is it extra? And the waiter says, $3. And then the person says, oh no, that's fine. I don't need the cheese. What's your initial response? What do you think about that person?
It's twofold because maybe they're being money conscious.
Okay.
But if you're on such a tight budget that a slice of cheese is out of range for you, why are we at a fancy restaurant?
An interesting take from you. I did not expect. I thought you were going to be like, yeah, sure. Who cares? $3 for cheese? That's crazy.
Like maybe he doesn't really like cheese that much.
Okay.
And it's cheese. It in and of itself is not worth $3.
Okay.
Like maybe we just don't like cheese, which would be insane. Who doesn't love cheese?
I mean, yes, cheese is great. But like I was when I thought of this,
but like who's eating a burger without cheese?
A lot of people.
I don't get that.
I don't either.
It's a
I am team
cheeseburger or
cheese.
something different.
Yes, I agree with you.
I would never eat a burger without cheese.
I am also team cheese, but what I want to say to you loud and clear is $3 is too much for added cheese.
Honestly, in this economy, in a fancy restaurant, would I be shocked? Not really.
That seems insane to me.
It is insane. But you're in a fancy restaurant. Like if you were at Burns Steakhouse in Tampa, which is amazing and fancy.
But
don't you think they would charge $3
I have misasked
for cheese?
the question. I don't think it's a fancy restaurant.
Oh, we're at like Five Guys?
No, we're not at Five Guys. We're at like middle of the road Ted's Montana Grill. Like,
okay.
We're not talking $60 steak. We're talking $30 steak.
Yeah, then,
so it's
then
not
$3
Applebee's.
is too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I thought you said upscale. I thought we were
upscale city. Austin, Chicago, New York.
Oh, I thought you meant like an upscale restaurant. So you mean like we're in a big city, but at a mediocre restaurant?
I'm trying to set the economic conditions. Okay. We're not in freaking Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
Where if somebody asked for $3 cheese, they'd probably get sent out on a rail.
So it's big city, mediocre restaurant.
Mediocre restaurant.
Then $3 is too much.
Exactly. That's the answer that I was looking for.
Well, at first, I thought we were in a fancy restaurant.
No.
I thought there was a white tablecloth and a wine glass.
As far as I know, that's not the case. Because this question comes to me. I don't know if you've seen the Branzino girl TikTok.
No.
Oh my God. Well, I was looking for it. I don't think I can find the original one. All of these are just stitches. So it's just like, I will paraphrase the Branzino girl TikTok. So she gets off of a date and she's walking home and she's doing a talking head TikTok and she's talking about the guy and everything was going well. And then all of a sudden, the scenario that I laid out to you came to fruition.
But was it about Branzino?
Well, she ordered the Branzino. That's why I call her Branzino girl.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Branzino's a weird fish. Don't order the Branzino. That's the first and foremost.
Yeah, he's probably making a TikTok about her ordering Branzino.
The thing about it is like, she then goes on this diatribe about like, I can't believe, or no, what even worse than that. The meal comes, she finishes the meal, then she leaves to go to the bathroom and goes and pays the bill and leaves and then texts the guy like, hey, we're looking for different things or whatever and leaves.
Because he didn't want to
pay $30 for cheese on the burger. I was floored by
That's a little extreme.
So I wanted your take.
If it was a first date,
I think it was.
It would be a
online.
little weird.
So from the context of the TikTok, it was online dating, probably Tinder or Hinge or whatever. First time meeting, they had probably texted over or whatever.
Yeah.
But this girl is getting absolutely cooked on TikTok. I am fascinated with the people that put TikToks out that think that the general populace is going to be on their side.
I'm going to put out this TikTok and everybody's going to agree with me.
It's like when the celebrities did the Imagine song at the beginning of COVID, and they were like, this is going to be God's gift to Earth.
This is going to make it better.
We are going to save the planet.
Everybody's going to love it. It's going to bring us all together, and everybody roasted them.
It just shows such a lack of like any type of self-awareness, because in her mind, I guarantee
it's really not that big of a deal.
Dude, $3 for cheese. She's talking. I wish I could show you this TikTok.
I know,
because she's talking as if like he made a racist joke at the beginning of the day.
Can you believe he ordered heart? Dude, something insane.
It's a 2-minute TikTok, and the first minute she sets the scene and then drops the bomb of like a $3 cheeseburger, and as if we are supposed to think that she was on the date with Heinrich Himmler. Like it is baffling to me.
That's a really strong reaction. Like maybe he just doesn't like cheese for $3. Maybe he likes cheese for $1.
Exactly. Oh, there's any number of things, normal human responses to that. $3 cheese, too much money. Could be trying to save money. Maybe he decided, I don't really want cheese. I can just go with the plain burger. A little bit of ketchup, mustard.
Like, it's all the same to me. I'm not that into it.
Exactly.
I can take it or leave it, so I'm not going to spend $3.
He could think, maybe I'm going to have to pay for the whole meal, because if they're on a date, maybe he believes that he's going to have to pay. Probably not with this lady. She's probably going to split the bill, whatever. But she decides to end the date then and there.
That's a really strong reaction.
Cool. That's totally fine.
Or like maybe
then you go outside immediately after, and your first instinct is to make a TikTok about it.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
That's crazy.
Who are these humans?
I don't
It is as if, because even 3 to 5 years ago, that conversation would have been done on FaceTime with a one-to-one person.
And now it's with the whole world.
But now it's like a FaceTime conversation. She's literally talking to her phone like a FaceTime call.
I understand that.
The amount, I think it's like this desire for virality, because one TikTok can change your life. Like, look at the kombucha girl.
Right. She made one funny
TikTok, and she never has to work another day in her life in a traditional job.
Right.
Obviously, she works to make content.
She's been able to leverage that into a content creation job.
But did this lady think that the rant about the cheeseburger was going to set her on like a higher plane of existence?
Maybe she thought people would think it was funny.
I'm hoping, and it doesn't seem this way. It seems very sincere, but I'm hoping it was a bit. And she was just like leaning into the like New York girl culture. You know how it is. It's like, it's very money centric. It's very like, if you can't pay for a $3 cheese, how are you going to pay for it? You know, but that's kind of what she said, was like, our finances are not aligned because he couldn't pay for a $3 slice of cheese.
But like, maybe that means he's really smart with his money.
Also true. I cannot get over the fact that someone charged. I mean, I guess I can, because things are ridiculously expensive.
Food has gotten so expensive.
I'm bringing a craft single in my coat pocket.
Just in case.
Because let me tell you right now.
Just in case they try to charge you $3.
That response from the guy saying, "Oh no, that's fine," that would not have been my response.
You would have gotten
$3 for a thing of cheese on a burger?
But you wouldn't get mad at the waiter.
No, but I would have been
like, I need to talk to somebody about this.
I would have just had a moment with the waiter like, bro, really? Y'all are charging $3 for a thing of cheese? Is it gold cheese? Is the cheese going to change my life? Like, what the hell are you doing charging $3 for cheese?
Yeah. And then the waiter would be like, I know.
Do you know how much a block of Kraft Singles is? $3. That's 24 slices of cheese. What are we doing?
But I don't think they're using Kraft Singles.
Can't be any better than Kraft Singles for a cheeseburger?
I don't know.
What are we doing? Maybe it's like a little bit better quality.
Cheddar.
Baloney. I hate it. I hate it. Speaking of wasting money.
Okay.
We're going to talk today. We talked a little bit about gym clothing last episode. We're going to dive a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Into the psychology and the pricing of gym clothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So for me, I have always been very much function over form over style. If you notice in a lot of these podcasts, I'm wearing a black t-shirt, a black hoodie. Right now I'm wearing some sweatshorts. Usually I'm in gym shorts.
Yes.
That's why I hate going out, because I don't like putting on clothes.
Right.
I am
If we're going out to a restaurant, You always want to know, is it fancy? And by is it fancy, you just mean, do I have to wear something other than gym shorts?
If I have to put on pants, it's fancy.
If you have to put on shorts that are not gym shorts,
truth,
it's fancy.
I don't own any shorts that are not
they don't
fit
you anymore, do they?
Well, I've gotten rid of them because I don't like the look of them. We're going to go a little deep. I have never really loved style.
Yeah.
I've been a bigger guy my whole life.
You're more function.
Well, I've just been a bigger guy my whole life, and I've never had the opportunity. Like, you walk into any regular store, any clothing store, and the highest that the pant sizes go for men, I don't know if this is the same for women, but it's like 36. You'll be lucky to find some 36s, right?
It would blow your mind what it's like buying pants for women.
Oh, I bet it's worse.
They don't do it by waist size.
Then how do they do it?
They make it up.
What do you mean they make it up?
They make it up.
What is the universe? How?
There is no universal sizing for women.
So you're going to walk into one store, and it's going to have different pant sizes than another store.
So they're all the same. It's 0, 2, 4, 6, 8,
right.
10, 12.
I knew there were numbers associated with it.
Yes, but a 12 is not in the Gap.
Is not a 12.
Is not equivalent to a 12 at Ann Taylor.
Is that like a secret menu item, or do you know that going in?
So you know that it's a crapshoot.
Okay.
And you know to yourself, okay, in most stores, I am a 4.
Yeah.
Or I am an 8. And so you go to a store that maybe you're not as familiar with, and you grab an 8, but you probably also grab a 6 and a 10.
Oh, God.
Because, like, it could be different. It's called vanity sizing.
I cannot describe to you how annoying that is.
It's a marketing tactic.
Why?
Because if you say you're normally an 8 and you go to a store and the 8's too big and you fit into a 6 in that store, it's like,
wow,
damn, I look good.
Okay, it's all coming together now.
It's called vanity sizing.
That's stupid.
It is, but you're more likely to buy the pants if you think you're an 8,
you're smaller,
or if you are an 8 and you fit into a 6 in one store, but in another store you're a 10 in their sizing, you're going to buy the 6. You're not going to buy the 10. It's true. That's
truly dumb. I get it. Like, I understand it, but that's really stupid.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, I throughout my whole life have always worn, and I have a little bit of like sensory, like, you don't like
tight clothes,
bro.
Yeah.
Anybody wearing tight shirts, tell me how, because that stuff, it makes me so physically uncomfortable for the rest of the outing. I'm always just like,
you do pull, and even loose clothing, you
because I want to be free, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was like when I was a child, I never really wore shirts. Like in Cayman, we grew up, we barely wore clothes, man. We just walked around in like shorts.
But it can be frustrating to be shopping and to have just such a hard time finding something that fits you. And I think that can make you not like shopping and not like style.
Top of the list, like, this shows that I have lived a truly privileged and comfortable life.
Lucky life.
Very lucky. But like, top of the list of things that I hate is shopping. Like, that is top 3 at any given moment. I am so uncomfortable in the dressing rooms. Nothing ever fits properly. It's like, so I have then evolved into, if I find one pair of shorts that fits,
you buy it in every color.
I buy 5 pairs of that short and I wear them to death. I have one pair of underwear that has lasted me for 10 years.
Is that the ratty pair?
Yes. And I will not let it go because it fits me properly.
Does it?
Yes. It feels comfortable to me. And so I'm not going to let it go.
That's fair. If you're comfortable.
Okay. So then that's normal clothing. So then when I started getting into the gym, same type of thing. Because it's not as if, like, when I was coming up 2013, 14, right? When I was really getting into the gym, they still had like these clothing brands, but it was more like sport, like Nike, Under Armour, right? So they still had like clothing marketed towards sport and gym wear. So I went into a Dick's Sporting Goods and I got the 2XL of the dry fit, and I felt terrible. I put them on. It was so tight, so like, done with that. So then but
you wore those for years,
right? Because I didn't think
you didn't know there was anything. You thought you had to wear sporting clothes in the gym.
Well, I sweat a lot too, so I was like, the dry wick fabric or whatever the hell they call it. It'll be good for me. That's going to be good for me. I need this. Baloney. Then when I like pandemic getting back into the gym, I was like, I'm not going down the same rabbit hole of having to buy, because these dry fit shirts are like $35 for one shirt. I was like, I cannot afford that, first and foremost. 2, that just feels like such a waste of money. Like I can't deal with that. So I just went on Amazon and I was like, Hanes black t-shirt. Yeah. And there was a 5-pack for $15. I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
And then that.
And so even if you only wear it twice and it's destroyed, that's still not a bad deal.
And that has been the gym wear of choice since that time. Now, let me set the stage because I don't know. First of all, what is your knowledge of like gym wear? Do you know any of the companies or anything like that?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, I get marketed to on Instagram.
Right. True. We talked about that a little bit.
And I've bought like Fabletics.
Okay.
I've bought some stuff from
That's
there.
one of the big ones. Lululemon is another one.
I remember when Fabletics first came out, and that was when I bought. And I still have a pair of their leggings, and I really like them.
Yeah.
Because it was like, if you're a new customer, you can get 2 pairs of leggings for like $20. Yeah. And I was like, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
That's $10 for a pair of leggings.
That's not bad.
No, but then once you have to be a member and like you have to remember to skip every month.
Remember that because that's very important.
Yeah. And like I have like gotten a pair of Lululemon leggings for Christmas, but I will not buy those myself.
There's a lot of
like I've heard of like Gymshark and
Young LA and all those.
I have not heard of that one.
So Young LA is it's coming up on the scene. It's kind of challenging Gymshark now for Instagram supremacy.
Okay.
Which is kind of where things went, I think like 2018, like with the rise of fitness influencers on Instagram and on TikTok, brands obviously have said, okay, we're going to attach ourselves to this person. Typical marketing, just like, Tiger Woods on a thing of Wheaties. It's like, oh, I can golf like Tiger Woods.
Right.
Same
Absolutely.
deal. So they started a company that a lot of these companies started not just a gym wear side, but also like a lifestyle side.
Like athleisure?
Basically, yes. So they tried to get in on the gym wear side saying like, this is functional clothing. Yeah. This is going to be moisture wicking or it's going to be cooling, whatever
it's going to help you perform in the gym.
Exactly. And then they were like...
And we also have this really cute jacket.
Right.
That you can wear.
Exactly.
To the store.
Exactly.
Out with your friends.
So
walking your dog.
The issue that I see is like, these are so marketed to the 15 to 25-year-old demographic by a bunch of influencers who are getting the stuff for free, obviously. But the quality of the clothing is terrible. When I tell you terrible, like numerous examples of the clothing just breaking down.
Really?
Ripping, like all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Now, not all of this is not all the clothing is bad, but the overwhelming sense that I get from doing research of people that actually review the stuff and are not paid to promote it is, okay, this is cheap quality stuff. If you bought it for $10 to $15, like my Hanes t-shirts, okay, cool. No harm, no foul. You get what you pay for. Some of this stuff is like $35 to $40.
Right.
I went on the Young LA website yesterday in research for this. The cheapest t-shirt that they have, $35.
Goodness.
$35. Now, in context, inflation is high. I get that.
Right. But it's hard times right now.
But clothing specifically is one of the industries that preys so heavily on foreign work, slave work in a lot of cases.
I agree completely.
They are not, this $35 t-shirt is not a $35 t-shirt because it was made with care.
So I'm somebody who makes clothes.
Yes, true.
I make some of my own clothes. I don't sew very much. I do sort of know how.
Yeah.
And I certainly understand how much labor and skill goes into sewing a garment, even though I don't do it. But I do knitwear and crochet, like we've talked about before.
So you have a perspective.
So I understand how long it takes.
Right.
I mean, this sweater that I'm wearing took
months.
Probably 50 hours of work.
Yeah, crazy.
Easily.
And we had the conversation. We talked about you selling this stuff.
And I would not do it.
And you told me it's just not feasible.
We pay we basically don't pay for labor for the garments that we wear.
Right.
So we're not accustomed to how much paying somebody, even as low as $10 an hour, would cost to create a garment. Now, of course, knitwear and like sweaters and things take much longer. It doesn't take 50 hours to sew a t-shirt.
Right. That's true.
It takes, if you really know what you're doing, 20 minutes.
Sure.
Right? But then you get people who are paid 10 cents per garment that they make. So they're ripping it through a sewing machine. It ends up being poor quality, not their fault. It's because they're trying to put food on the table. Yeah. So they have to produce 100 garments an hour.
Right.
To, you know,
time for a macroeconomics lesson on our conversation about gym clothing. But like,
yeah,
it's just the truth. They're going to make it as cheaply as possible. Mm-hmm. And it is the Ciroc effect. You know Ciroc
no.
vodka?
No.
It might be Ciroc or one of the vodkas is so expensive because a famous rapper put their name with it. It's garbage quality. Mm-hmm. It's not like very well-made alcohol. But a famous rapper has said, that's my whiskey or that's my vodka. I'm in. And they've been able to inflate the price 100%. So when you see Noel Diesel or whoever your favorite Instagram influencer, even Chris Bumstead.
You don't care about the quality.
You don't care about the quality. You want to look like this person. Mm-hmm. I get that. I want to be very clear. When we have these conversations on this podcast, we're not saying we're holier than thou.
No.
We don't get marketed to, or we are so smart and we know how to look through the looking glass. No, I have bought my fair share of garbage that was marketed to me by my favorite person on Instagram. Let me tell you right now, this shirt right here, it's not garbage. I love this company, but this is the Emo's Not Dead hoodie. Yeah, this is a YouTube channel.
Plain, simple black hoodie.
And I like that culture. I like the emo culture, so I wanted to be a part of it. I bought the hoodie. Now, this is good quality. I'm happy with it. But this was $50.
Yeah.
And a normal hoodie like this, without branding, is probably $30. But I'm paying for the entrance into the subculture.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about gym clothing, I think that is a main driver for a lot of these kids. Now, I say kids because they want to be involved in the gym culture, which is really taking off on Instagram and on TikTok right now. There's this, just go on Instagram and type in fitness and you will see millions of posts, millions of posts.
Oh, yeah.
If not more. And so young kids want to be a part of that subculture. So they will ask their parents, because they're probably not paying. I mean, sometimes they are, but they will pay a premium for a lot of these clothes that are not really premium brand. So a lesson that I want to leave with you, fine folks, is you do not need a specific set of clothing to be in the gym.
Right.
I have seen questions asked, do I need to wear a specific style of clothing? Will it help me? No.
No, it won't.
I work in a commercial gym. I see the gamut of dudes in stringers and short shorts all the way up to like fully decked out Under Armour, cold gear, warm gear, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to do whatever it is going to take to get you into the gym, in my opinion, right? So if that means I'm going to splurge a little bit on my outfit, because I want to look good or I want to look cute. One of my favorite football players, Deion Sanders, look good, play good, right?
A lot of people feel that way.
So if that's what it takes to get you into the gym, awesome. But be a little self-aware.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Well, and there's a lot of, for, people who do want to like look good, play good. There's ways to find cute but affordable gym wear.
I think,
in fact, this weekend I actually found some really cute bike shorts and a couple like long line sports bras that were like, I don't know, $20 a piece.
Nice.
Which on some of those big websites would probably be more like $45 a piece.
Because women's gym wear is a whole different animal.
Right.
That I do not have personal experience with, but I have heard, and just from looking at the Lululemon prices, that is bonkers how much that stuff costs.
But you can find cute stuff in a lot of different stores and sometimes in unexpected places for an affordable price. And then you can still look cute, but you haven't spent more than you intended to.
I wonder if any of you guys watching have had the thought like, oh, I need to fit a certain niche in my clothing to be able to be a part of this community. Because I find that like gym community is incredibly important with retention, with like getting people to come back. I think that's the one thing that we have as a corporate gym that is kind of lacking is like the powerlifting gym that I train at is such a family, and it is such a, like, I go in, I know every single person that's there. It's a community. And that, even on my worst day, keeps me coming back to the gym. A corporate gym is kind of soulless.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, speaking as somebody who's not comfortable or familiar with a gym, I think there's a lot of self-consciousness that comes with starting going to the gym.
Yes.
And so it's like, maybe if I at least look the part, people won't stare at me.
It's a great point.
People won't know that I have no clue what I'm doing. It's a great point. Like, I'll at least look like I fit in, and then I can at least kind of feel a little bit, maybe more invisible.
Yes.
Going through the gym, because you look like you belong.
Yes, that's a great point.
So I think there might be something to that as well.
Well, that's kind of sad, but I get that. Like, I totally understand. You know, I try and I'm kind of a chameleon in social situations where I just want to blend. I don't want to be the person that really stands out. Right. So I totally understand. Like, okay, if I wear the leggings and the sports bra that everybody else is wearing, nobody's going to
notice me. People are going to think that I just know what I'm doing, and I'm not going to get any weird looks.
Definitely makes a lot of sense, but like, nobody's looking at you anyway, which is something we've talked about before. Yes. I know it's hard to believe, but trust me. 95% of people in the gym are so focused on their own self that they're not really paying attention to unless you're doing something heinous or you're dealing with an absolute clown.
Yeah.
That's the 5%. But the mass majority of people, they could care less about you.
Yeah. And I think people it's the spotlight effect.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that that's particularly strong in the gym.
Well, we are all our own.
We're the main character of all our own stories.
So it makes sense, but I just want to put you at ease. If you are deciding to go to the gym, my job as a coach and also as a content creator is to encourage you to break down any barrier to entry. And I can do that by explaining things to you or giving you examples from my own life. This is an example from my own life where I have decided that my gym uniform is a black t-shirt and black shorts. And I have never been more comfortable in the gym. And this was even when I started. That's right? Great. Now, this is a personal experience, and everybody's going to come to this in a different way. I get that. Everyone is an individual. But I do think that if you can find something that you at least feel comfortable in, you can kind of break that initial barrier of, my clothes aren't right, that's why I can't go to the gym. And then you fight through the next barrier of, oh, well, I don't have time, or, you know, I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me. But my job always, like my initial assessment with people, is how can we pull back these barriers to entry to get you there one time and then to continue getting you there. Right. So I thought that we needed to have this conversation.
It's very easy to come up with barriers
for
to not go to the gym. It is so easy.
Yes. And I have done that myself.
Everybody has.
And I love going to the gym. Like, that's a fundamental part of my identity. And I still find myself in my head like, the pre-workout was kind of off today. I don't know.
The pollen count's really high. I couldn't run outside today.
That has been a real factor for me. And the gym that I work out at is an open gym. It's like a warehouse. And last week I was like, pollen count's really high. Like maybe I shouldn't go. Still got the workout done. It was great. But your mind does not want to move out of homeostasis. It wants to keep you there in a comfortable spot. But you have to find ways to break out of that comfort zone. So an actionable tip that I want to leave you with about gym clothing, about this topic, is find a uniform that's not going to break the bank, whatever that is for you, right? Only you can decide what's in your budget and what's not in your budget.
Only you can decide if you can afford the $3 cheese.
Exactly. Before someone makes a TikTok video about you. But if you can afford the Lululemon and you are going to feel better. And it makes you feel
good and you're going to go to the gym in your $100 leggings,
two thumbs up.
More power to you.
I love that idea. That's a great idea. But if you can't.
Go to Marshall's.
Go to Walmart.
Great leggings.
There are there's solid clothing that's going to last you.
I have found great leggings actually at Goodwill.
Oh yeah. That's a little gross for me. But
no, I have issues. You do have issues. I have found clothing. Like Champion sweatpants that still had the tags on them.
Yeah.
At Goodwill. I mean, you can find at every budget, you can find something that will work in 100%. The gym. Whether you want it to be, the brand name, Champion, Lululemon, whatever, full price or a Goodwill, you can find it if you look hard enough.
I walk into a Goodwill and I get itchy.
That's psychological.
It 100% is psychological. I just have this issue.
I love it. I love going.
Well, it's so funny because I don't love to eat leftovers. It's the same type of thing. Like,
yeah, you're just so germophobic.
I'm not it's like.
You have germ problems.
Yeah, well, I come by it honestly. My parents are like that. Yeah. But it's like if someone has worn this, no amount of washing it will take that stain away for me.
You won't wear new clothes without washing.
Oh yeah, dude, no way.
Yeah, you will not wear.
I
new
watched
clothes.
one like Dumb Ways to Die where somebody died of a flesh-eating
you're going to get like necrotizing fasciitis?
Dude, it happened one time to somebody, and thus it's going to happen to me.
One time to one person. There are 7 billion people.
8 billion
living
now.
on the planet. Are you serious?
Yeah, there's 8 billion people.
That's a lot of people.
But I'm telling you, I know that it's a me problem, but it's still like. There's just, I don't think I'll ever get over it. It
doesn't work for you.
It's only getting worse with age too.
It doesn't work for you.
Like when we were in college, we would go thrifting a lot and I would be okay with it. Like I got a couple shirts, but now as I'm getting older, it's like, somebody maybe sweating that a little bit and I don't want to be a part of that.
Not everybody sweats as much as you do.
But in my head, everybody does. All right. Well, hopefully you found that discussion on gym clothing educational.
Yeah.
Just be who you want to be, man. Yeah. Be free. We're going to move to the one big fitness question of the day. Okay. This is again from Reddit. They've been coming up with some bangers lately.
Woo.
So this question is, how long should you do cardio before lifting weights? I find if I go past 20 minutes on an elliptical, I'm more exhausted when doing my workout routine and have less energy. Okay.
I think I have heard that depending on your goals, you might want to do cardio either before or after. Is there something to that? Am I making that up?
This is a great point.
You are the coach. Please.
You said took the words right out of my mouth.
Please elaborate on what I've said.
The main thing that we always have to do when we are setting up a exercise protocol is first ask ourselves, what is my goal? Mm-hmm. So if your goal is to build muscle and gain strength, you would be better served doing cardio on another day or after the resistance training.
Okay. And why is that? Is that just so you can really give it your all?
Yeah.
For
So
the resistance?
first and foremost, the basic knowledge. It's the same principle of like doing your heavy compound squat before you do leg extensions. You want to be fresh. You want to be
do the hard stuff first.
Do the hard stuff first. Exactly. That's a layperson's way of saying it. Exactly.
I have given that advice to patients actually.
It's great advice.
They'll complain to me, the speech therapist, that physical therapist gave me this exercise and I really can't do it. These other ones I'm doing, but I really can't do that one. It's like, well, do that one first.
Yes.
Because it's hard to like do it when you're fresh.
Eat the frog.
Like do your leg kicks first and then do your toe taps. Yeah. That's the context in which I have given that advice.
But it's
to
the
people.
same. It's the same type of thing. You want to do now. This is a lot of people hear that and take this way too far and say, oh, if I do leg extensions first, then my squat work is going to be toast and I'm not going to gain any adaptations.
No,
not true. Not true. And a lot of bodybuilders whose goal is muscular size rather than strength will do something called a pre-exhausting set where they will go to the leg extension, pre-exhaust their quads, not have to use as much weight on their back for their squats and still get a good stimulus, right? So there are
that's in accordance with their goal, their primary
focus. There are always contexts in which these hard and fast rules that we talk about can be broken. That's the first thing.
Well, and I think that's part of the value of having like a coach or some sort of consultant is that I would have never known that, bodybuilders or people who are going after like crazy hypertrophy that would be smart to do.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like I as a coach am in the unique position of being able to think about all these different scenarios because I'm presented all these different problems.
Yeah.
With every single person that sits down in front of me for coaching has a different goal. People think that it's just weight loss and strength gain, but
no.
Back pain relief, general posture improvement, just having more energy, like every random things people come to me with. And then I am able to, through the lens of my education, pick out a plan that I think would work best for them.
Yeah.
Right. And then adjust that to their individual needs. But that's the thing. Someone who comes to Reddit and says, should I do cardio before lifting?
How could you know? What does he want to achieve?
They are looking for a one-to-one answer forever. They want to know for the rest of my time in the gym, should I do cardio first or weightlifting first?
And it's just really not that simple.
It's not that simple.
Almost nothing in life is that simple.
It's goal specific and it can change. So for me, and another example from my own life, when I first started back in the gym after COVID, I was 70 pounds overweight. Now, I love lifting weights and I wanted to compete in powerlifting, but I physically could not do that until I lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
So guess what I did?
So your first few weeks were more cardio heavy.
More cardio based and getting my diet sorted.
And then you got a little bit more in shape. You had more endurance.
Yes.
You maybe lost 15, 20 pounds.
Yep.
And then
was
you
able
switch?
to transition to still doing cardio first, but now adding weights after. And then after a couple more months of that, just weights. And it's changed back and forth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like right now I'm in the off season. I do not have a powerlifting competition on the books just yet. I want to compete later on this year. But I've got a lot of time here. So I've decided to train for a 5K with you.
Yeah.
So some people say, oh, you can't run at all. That's going to blunt some adaptation or that's going to take some energy away from your resistance training. The science is still up in the air. For my personal goals, I am okay with losing a little bit of resistance training adaptation to be able to increase my cardiovascular fitness and run with my wife, which would be a fun thing to do.
It would be a fun thing to do.
Right? So the main takeaway is always, always, always start with what you want to achieve. Do not go process first. Do not go, okay, I'm just going to work out. Because one, you're going to reach a point where your motivation is going to dip and you're not going to have the goal to keep you going. And two, you could be going the complete opposite direction. If you don't have a map, you could go east when you're supposed to be going west, right?
That's right.
So if the goal is I want to increase my cardiovascular fitness and I want to increase my calorie expenditure to lose a little weight, do your cardio first.
Yeah.
If the goal is I want to gain weight, because I want to be more muscular and I want to be stronger, then it might be more important to do your cardio second or on a separate day or not do your cardio at all.
And you do cardio on a separate day largely, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I do.
On your 2 off days is when you run and do your 5K stuff.
And right now I also do 10 minutes of incline walking after every workout. But that is so low impact. Like that is not going to eat into my recovery efforts. Right? Again, another thing that you can discuss with a coach. Shameless plug. I am available. I'm just saying. But this is like, it makes a lot of sense. I find when I go past 20 minutes on the elliptical, I'm exhausted when I'm doing my workout.
That's a long time on the elliptical.
I once worked with a guy who would do 20 minutes on the stair stepper before getting to the weight training and was wondering why. He was like, I've been doing weights for a year and I'm not making any progress at all. I was like, hey, all right, I'm sorry that's happening to you. Let's go ahead and take the stairs out for a little bit. 3 months, boom.
Really?
Incredible progress because he was coming to the hard sets with more energy, able to do more towards adaptation, right? The body needs a difficult stimulus.
Yeah.
So if you don't have energy to increase difficulty, it's not going to work.
I think people think so much about how important cardio is.
Right.
And not to say that it's not important.
Yes.
But I think people probably feel like if they're not doing some cardio every time they're in the gym, they're probably not doing a very good workout.
That is a great point.
And that's not necessarily true.
But a very, very good point because I think, again, with the rise of like corporate gyms and bodybuilding and powerlifting in the past 5 years, they've started to come more to the forefront of like the general population's idea of fitness. But before that, I think it was like Pilates, aerobics,
Jazzercise,
get on the stair, on the treadmill and run, right? Running was always in the forefront. So this idea of I'm going to the gym was always cardio based. Here's a hard,
like you walk into like Planet Fitness and it's a line of like 30 treadmills.
Yeah.
Like that's what you see when
like
you walk inside.
My favorite meme, I saw this on Instagram a couple days ago, but there was a guy that was like, gym owners buying treadmills, and it was like, give me 500. And then gym owners buying squat racks. It was like, best I can do is 2, right? Because that's every corporate commercial gym. There's a billion, because they go to the lowest common denominator.
That's what people think of when they think of a gym. They think of a treadmill.
What people want.
So if you went into a gym and you're like, there's only 2 treadmills, I'm not going to buy a membership here.
Right. And that's why I'm over at Muscle City, because I walked in and there was 1 treadmill and there was 5 squat racks. I was like, this is the place for me. This is the place for me. But I want you to always keep in mind that the goal leads to what the work needs to be and that can change, right? with fitness specifically, with weight training, resistance training, we change things based on the goal all the time. So people that come to you and say, oh, I just want to work out a little bit. Okay, I will set you up with something like that. But just know that when the goal changes, or when you want to, I want to put more size on my arms rather than my back, the stimulus then has to change on top of that, right?
That's exactly right.
It's a really interesting idea. And I think that as again, we've talked about fitness Instagram for a while earlier, but it does have some positives. And then I think that powerlifting and bodybuilding and general strength training are being presented as more normal to the general population.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love cardiovascular fitness, when you're doing cardio, the adaptation is going to be cardiovascular fitness. It's not going to be weight loss. 9 times out of 10, you're doing cardio for an hour, that's 200 calories burned. That's 1/2 of a donut. And then you've wiped that out, right? So the cardio, like when you get on a treadmill, you should think the adaptation that I'm going to get from this is better cardiovascular fitness. It's not that this is going to cause me to lose weight. That is done with your diet. But now that the resistance training is starting to come into the forefront, I think people are starting to realize adding a little bit of muscle can help with weight loss way more than 2 to 3 times on a treadmill for 30 minutes can. Muscle burns more energy. It increases your resting metabolic rate, right?
Yep.
So that's a great thing about Instagram, right? Yeah. We don't want to leave Instagram in the dust.
Like on Instagram, there's some really great female fitness influencers coming up. And I think that in general, women are so scared of putting on muscle, but there are some really great accounts of girls about my age who lift heavy weights and they don't look bulky. They look really nice. And it's something that is achievable, but inspiring.
Yes.
And it's, I guess just so women can see that you can lift weights. And if you want to be a bodybuilder and look bulky, great, you can do that. But that's not what you're probably going to look like if you lift weights.
100%. That's a fantastic point. And that I think is going to be a topic for next week where we talk about it, because we don't have much time left, but I really want to get into that in terms of the female side of things. I'm interested in your perspective of that as well.
Yeah.
So do your cardio whenever you want to, as long as it fits your goal. That's the main takeaway for that.
And also lift some weights.
Also, please lift some weights. All right. Quick relationship advice question.
Okay.
This one's a little bit funnier. I don't know.
Okay.
Some of these are just so depressing.
Some of them are so sad.
I sit on Reddit, I'm like, we can't talk about that. That's going to be too sad. I don't want to talk about that.
Sarah's going to cry if you read that.
Okay, so my 26-year-old female boyfriend, 27-year-old male, rarely pays for things. When I bring it up, he accuses me of wanting to control his finances. Oh boy. Just as the title says, seldom does my boyfriend offer to pay for things. 9 times out of 10, I'll pay for dinner, activities, big furniture purchases. I'm in a commission-based career where I receive large sums of pay at a time, whereas he has a steady, predictable income. What initiated our most recent disagreement following a week of dates and activities, all of which I paid for, he asked if he could go golf with his buddy. I told him he doesn't need my permission to go, but that it hurts my feelings that he doesn't contribute to our expenses, yet always finds money to pay for his own things. For deeper context, he's gone to golf twice this week alone. I don't golf, but offered to pay for 2 of his hours earlier in the week and accompanied him to an hour later in the week. I also paid for both of us to go to an auto show, a hobby he enjoys, and for lunch beforehand. Any advice? Wow. First of all, the main thing, I hate this word.
What?
I truly hate this word.
Which word?
But this man is gaslighting you. I hate that word. But if he is telling you that his refusal to pay for things is in fear of you controlling his finances, he's controlling your finances.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right.
We gotta wait.
Well, and especially if it sounds like they're just dating, they're not engaged, they're not married. So I think it would be reasonable to go half on things, or I paid for the last one, so you pay for this one.
Good Lord help us.
Whether or not it's dollar for dollar spending the exact amount, one person shouldn't be paying for everything.
Incredible. I didn't even think about. I was thinking about that through the lens of a marriage, but you're right. They're just
not
dating.
married.
Dude, come on. brother,
Yeah,
you got to pay for your own stuff,
really
my guy. You have to pay for your own stuff.
Yeah. It seems like he's grifting.
I think
he's doing the grift.
But
it might be a thing where I hate to bring up like love languages as such a meme.
No, go
but
for
it seems like she's maybe trying to show her affection for him by treating him to things.
Yes.
And maybe that's how she wants to be shown affection. Like she's doing this because this is what she craves.
She likes to be, what's the one?
Gifts.
Gifts, that's what it is. Yeah.
Like she really wants gifts.
Right.
So she's gifting him lots of things as like a, hey, isn't it nice that I do this for you? Maybe you could do this for me.
Let's get this reciprocated. Yeah. I think, as with most of these relationship advice questions, it comes down to freaking communication. Good Lord.
But it sounds like she's trying.
Okay,
It sounds like she talked to him about it and he was like, what are you talking about?
But I think the presentation could be a little bit better. Again, I'm reading into this. I don't know these people, but it's like, hey, maybe could you pay for one or two things? It's like, no, you have to have an adult conversation. You guys are both 26 and 27 years old. You
both have jobs.
You have to say, hey, listen, my income is more sporadic. I am trying to save for something, or I am trying to set myself up with a more stable financial base.
It's like,
it would be easier for our relationship if maybe you paid for some of the times that we went out to dinner.
It's like, I love going and doing stuff with you. I love being able to treat you to things. I can't pay for everything that we do.
Right.
And so maybe from now on, let's alternate, whether it's dinner and the car show. Like, we're just going to have to go every other time we hang out.
So I think that
let's do this.
The tactful communication comes in that this can get very much tit for tat, and that can then be a source of conflict in the relationship. It's like, oh, well, I paid for my dinner was $11.99 and we went to the Branzino place with the $3 cheese. And it was like, so you don't want that to become a part of it.
It's not a dollar for dollar thing, but
it's just more so
the effort to go back and forth.
Again,
and
it can be 60-40 1 month, and then it can be 70-30. But just the concept of, I am also putting financial resources into this relationship, I think is the main important part of it. Because to me, that seems like the guy seems like, I'm going to get what I can get, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here.
That is the impression that it gives.
It seems to me like he's trying to run the grift.
He can pay stuff for himself, but he's not willing to do something nice for her and
this
something fun for her.
This is the type of story where if a follow-up came out where it was like he had a separate bank account and a separate life, I would not be shocked, because these are the things that lead to, it's like an unwillingness to be in a partnership always to me leads to he was doing something on the side.
Like, what's the reason that he's not all in?
Right. And it doesn't have to be a relationship on the side. It could be like, oh, I want to have an out. Like, I want to be able to break up with this person and just get out of there and be fine financially.
Yeah. It's like, maybe you're just really not that invested in the relationship.
Relationships are complicated, man. But I do feel that finances are an integral part of life individually and then as a partnership.
It's something that you really do have to be on the same page about.
And you have to talk about it a lot. And it is so uncomfortable to talk about for a lot of people, because money is whatever it is in our society. A lot of people come from different backgrounds where they talk about money or they don't talk about money, but you have to take the front foot and say, listen, we need to have a grown-up conversation about this.
You have to just decide to not be uncomfortable.
You can't just say, maybe you could pay for dinner tonight. It's like, no.
I paid for the last few. I can't afford another one. Can you get this one?
Right.
Or is there a reason that you can't?
Give grace, obviously, to the person, but say, hey, listen, we're going to need to figure something out, or we're going to have to stop going on trips or whatever. Because I would imagine that they're trying to save money as well, hopefully. So it's like, communicate.
Yeah.
Talk to each other. That's all. Every single one of these questions could just be answered with just talk.
I know.
It's communication.
Communication makes such a difference.
When we did our wedding, what was it?
Premarital counseling.
And we did that test.
Yeah,
we were like 100% the same on communication. I was like, oh, this is going to be fine. Because whatever obstacle has come up outside of that, we have been able to sit down and communicate about it.
Just talk about it.
I'm telling you, man. 9 times out of 10, if you can communicate about anything, you're going to make it.
And I remember when we did that test, the area in which we were most incompatible was finances.
Money, yes.
And we were 21, 20 at the time. So we were young and we didn't know anything about money.
True.
I think it was mostly a lack of knowledge about how to have good finances.
That's definitely what it was. It's like I didn't come from I didn't have a job when I was a teenager. I was very fortunate. I lived in a great home where I didn't have to. So I got to, all throughout high school, I didn't have a job. My first job was internships in college, right? So I was coming to this as like, I don't know what money is. I get a quick paycheck and then I spend the paycheck. Cool. Right. And through our relationship together,
we've communicated so much about finance that now we're on the same page about it. And we have, our shared goals and whatever, but it's because we are able to communicate effectively that we've been able to overcome some mismatched expectations.
Those conversations were incredibly uncomfortable the first couple of years of marriage. Yeah. They were not fun conversations to have.
And it was not a long conversation. It was, you talk about it until you need a break. And it's like, okay, let's put a pause on that. I'm getting a little overwhelmed. I'm getting a little bit upset.
Yeah.
Is it okay if we revisit this tomorrow and pick up here, or next week talk more about this?
True.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that has laid the foundation for every time you or I want to make a career change or we want to make a big purchase. We have the shared knowledge of what our financial goals are from the beginning of our marriage to be able to then have a conversation based on that bedrock of like, we want to buy a house. We want to save for retirement. Can we then also afford this trip or this expensive purchase or something for my business or something for your business? It's like, okay, we have a shared knowledge. Now let's go from there. Instead of having to start over completely and have a aggressive conversation, now we're like, okay, we can handle that, or no, we can't handle that. And then the conversations have gotten a lot easier as we've progressed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you have to do the work. Those initial first uncomfortable conversations are incredibly important.
Yeah, it is work. And I think there's a lot of value in taking time between conversations to talk about some stuff, come to some, the beginnings of a consensus, and then go think about it
and I'm
individually.
Not good at that.
I know you want to solve the problem. Yes. You want to talk about it until it's done.
When we come to a problem, I want to have that problem solved in the initial conversation.
Yeah, and that's not always realistic.
Obviously, it's definitely not always realistic, but you don't really work like that. You need time to process and think through things. I'm not better than you, but I'm more comfortable thinking on the fly and saying, okay, we do this and we move that and this and that, and now we're done. And now I don't have to think about it anymore.
I like to think down every individual possible thing.
And so I have adjusted my communication style to then say, okay, we can take a break. Let's separate for a day or whatever, and not separate physically, but separate ourselves from the conversation.
Yeah, just like take a break from the conversation and then process things a little bit and then come back to it.
And that
life is long, you know, you can come back to something hopefully, tomorrow.
Yes, right. Yes. You have that opportunity. So there's a 20-minute diatribe about communication, but that's what this podcast is about.
But it's so important.
I do think it is very, very important.
I mean, I think that's the most important thing.
I would agree with you.
Like if you're serious about being with somebody, but you feel like you can never communicate with them.
Yep. Let me tell you, marriage is long. Or let's say, hopefully it is long. And like the way that I think about marriage is, yes, it is a long-term commitment,
Absolutely.
So if you really got to get that communication sorted at the forefront or it's just going to continue to cause issues.
Yep. It's like the most important thing that I think you can have.
Well, hopefully this lady handles it.
Yeah.
It looks like she talked to him a little bit about it.
Sounds like she knows what she wants to achieve.
Yeah, I reading between the lines here, it seems like this guy's a little bit of a dick. I don't know. Again, I always put the disclaimer. I'm on her side here, to be honest. 100%, dude. This guy, my initial thought was just dump him.
Yeah, but I didn't want to say it, but it might end up going that way.
I just don't have a lot of patience for this kind of person, like the mooch.
Yeah.
And I'll do my fair share of grifting. Yeah. Let me tell you, like if somebody's going to pay for dinner,
great. Thank you so much.
I'll pretend to grab the check, but I'm going to get the free dinner. You know what I mean? No harm, no foul. Like when I go out to dinner with my parents, it's like, Dad, you got this? It's like, yeah, of course. Sweet. But at the same time, I look at like opportunities to pay that forward where I can pay for something for somebody else, right? It's not like this guy seems to me like he's just always trying to absorb whatever it is from this person. And he's probably doing this with his friends as well.
That's really self-centered.
Yeah. 100%. That my initial thought, like I thought we would talk about this one because I knew that we would come to the discussion about communication, but I also thought like this guy's an asshole. Like break up with this dude.
Well, I just think when you're in a relationship with somebody, you want to be made to feel special. Like both ways. It's not like
however that is for you.
A guy should pay for everything for a girl forever. I don't think that's really realistic.
Yeah.
But you should just feel special when you're with your person.
Agreed.
You know, you should feel lifted up. You should feel encouraged and lightened.
But the love language discussion was really interesting because I think, yes, maybe she is the person that...
I think that's like a thing.
Yeah.
For like people who are like really into that, like, you know, people are really into evaluating that.
Everything is sort of true. Well, it's like, it's not a great way to do your relationship completely, but there are definitely, like, I don't love physical touch. You do love physical touch. That's exactly what I was going
to bring up. So I give you a lot of hugs because that's what I want.
Right. And then I try to reciprocate as much as possible.
Right.
Right. For me, it's more so like service. So I try and do things that may reciprocate service. Yeah. Right. Like,
but sometimes I need to be reminded.
Communication.
Just tell me, like, hey, I really would love it if you would
cook my
soda.
Meal prep for me. Yeah, you know, like I love
like,
that.
Will you grab me a LaCroix? Well, I mean, can you? It's like, yeah, but it would really mean a lot to me.
Exactly.
Like, it's not, you know, I don't know. It's just, it would mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
And I forget that sometimes.
Communication, baby. Yeah. That's all it is. How's your reading challenge going as we wrap things up? This is a long one.
We've had a busy weekend, so I haven't really read much this weekend, but my mom did bring me, my mom did bring me a book that I'm very excited to read.
Nice.
One of my favorite authors recently came out with a new book, so she brought me a copy of it. So that will be
nice.
Maybe next on the list, although I do we're getting towards the end of Q1, so I do have to read a play before the end of the month.
Nice.
I might read several because they are quite short.
I have just finished a social science book, basically.
You didn't seem to love it.
It was fine. I read a lot of these data-driven. Data's interesting to me, but I've always been the type of person who approaches history from a human lens. I've never been a big battles guy. I've always been a big, like, tell me a story about this guy. Or tell me as close to you as you can to how this person was thinking and feeling. Because I like to hear that sort of thing.
Well, and I think that's why decisions are made.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. You've been reading a lot of biographies of presidents, right? So it's like, maybe Thomas Jefferson, when he made whatever big decision they're talking about in the book, it was probably more about what he was thinking and feeling rather than reading a bunch of data.
I think so. But like early on, obviously, but as data science has gotten more impactful in our day-to-day life, I'd like to think that because data science is incredibly important.
Yes.
It's hard, like we said, 8 billion people on this planet, 3 million people in this country. It's hard to make decisions based on feel.
There's not 3 million people in this country.
300 million.
Okay.
That's what I meant to say. But it's hard to make decisions based on feel. You need to take in some of that data science. So I think
the data gives you the broad view of history, but if you're reading about like one person or one small group of people, data's probably not going to tell you everything that you need to know. I mean, it'll tell you some of what you need to know.
Again, it's a marriage of the two things.
Yeah.
So that is why I read that book. It may not have been the most exciting, but it was interesting. And now I have a different perspective on day-to-day life in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Well, there you go.
Economically. Fantastic.
So exciting.
Truly. It was short. I got through it in like a couple days, so no worries.
Well, great.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited that we made it to 10 episodes.
Yeah,
This is the 10th episode. Wow. Counting the old episodes, obviously.
This is
like 4 episodes since we did the restart. But it's been a lot of fun. And we hope you guys are enjoying the podcast as well. There'll be another episode next week. So subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Like, comment, send the podcast around. YouTube has this cool podcast function now where you can click into...
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So you can click into my podcast. It's on the homepage of my YouTube channel and rate it. So we would love it if you did that.
Wow, give us
5 stars.
10 stars.
Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions and you want to be featured either in relationship advice or in the daily fitness question of the day, you can leave those comments below. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We will see you next time. We love you. Bye. Do we?
We do.
We'll
love
see.
them.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Bye.